The first thing I saw that morning was my own blood on the driveway. The second thing I saw was my son watching. And the men pointing guns at me never once asked my name. My name is Nathaniel Drummond. I've worn the uniform of the United States Marine Corps for 26 years. 3 combat deployments. 1 Purple Heart, a Bronze Star for pulling 7 Marines out of an ambush. I've operated in cities most Americans can't pronounce. I've been shot at. I've bled overseas. But the only time I've ever been zip-tied face down on concrete was in my own driveway. It was a Saturday. 6:14 a.m., I was washing my truck in a PT shirt and shorts. Quiet neighborhood, birds out, sprinklers running. 2 black SUVs came around the corner fast, too fast. They didn't slow down, they launched. 4 men jumped out in tactical vests with weapons drawn. On the ground, no greeting, no warrant, no name. Complied. Training doesn't disappear just because you're confused. Concrete hit my cheek, hard, knee in my back, plastic biting into my wrists. I said it calmly. I'm Colonel Nathaniel Drummond, United States Marine Corps. You have the wrong person. The man above me didn't respond. He didn't verify. He didn't even look. They all say that. That's when I heard my front door slam open. Dad, my son Elijah, is 14 years old, barefoot, running toward armed federal agents. That sound, his voice, cracking, cut deeper than the concrete ever did. One of the agents turned and pointed at him. Get back inside. He froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't protect him. And that was the first moment I felt something worse than anger. Helplessness. Then my wife pulled into the driveway. Simone had just finished an overnight shift at the hospital. She stepped out in surgical scrubs and saw me bleeding on the ground. She didn't scream. She didn't panic. She pulled out her phone and started recording. Clear, clinical, controlled. I am observing a laceration to the chin, visible wrist trauma, possible shoulder injury. She looked at the lead agent. Where's your warrant? He told her to step back. She asked again, where's your warrant? There wasn't one. They said they were executing an enforcement action tied to identity fraud. The name they gave wasn't mine. Didn't match my age. It didn't match this address. Didn't match anything. Told them my military ID was inside on the kitchen counter. 30 seconds of verification. That's all it would have taken. Instead, they lifted me off the driveway and put me in the SUV. My son was still crying when the door shut. Here's what they didn't know. Simone had already made 1 phone call, my commanding officer. When you tell the Marine Corps that one of their colonels has been detained without verification, things move fast. By the time we reached the field office, calls were already moving through military legal channels. But I didn't know that. I was walked through a back entrance. Metal cuffs replaced plastic. Steel bench. Cold room. No explanation. For nearly 3 hours, I sat there. I asked twice to speak to someone in charge. I repeated my name, my rank, my service. No one checked. Not until a supervisor ran my name through the system. And when he did, everything changed. Citizen, active duty, top-level clearance, wrong house, wrong man, wrong everything. They removed the cuffs. There's been a miscommunication. That was the apology. Simone was waiting in the parking lot. She saw my wrists before I said a word. She drove straight to the hospital. Every bruise photographed. Every abrasion documented. When we got home, Elijah was sitting on the steps. He hadn't moved much. That night, he didn't sleep. On the 5th morning, he asked me something I'll never forget. Are they coming back? I've led Marines into firefights. I've briefed generals, made decisions under pressure, but I didn't have an answer for my son, and that's when it really hit me. This wasn't just about me. Safety had been taken from my house. Within 48 hours, an inquiry was opened through federal oversight channels. I won't get into procedural specifics. That part belongs to lawyers and investigators. But here's what mattered. There was footage. Multiple neighbors recorded everything. A doorbell camera across the street captured the entire encounter. And the agent's body cameras? Inactive? That detail raised serious questions. Investigators reviewed prior enforcement actions tied to that team. Patterns began to surface. Documentation, inconsistencies, verification failures, missing recordings. I didn't need revenge. I needed accountability. So I cooperated fully, testified, provided records, answered everything, not with anger, with precision. Months later, I sat in a federal courtroom, dress blues, medals aligned. The footage played on a large screen. You could hear my son's voice echo through the courtroom speakers. You could hear me identifying myself calmly, over and over. The jury didn't rush. They listened. They saw. When the verdict came, it wasn't loud. It was firm. Accountability under federal law. Supervisory failures addressed. Policy reforms mandated. Won't describe the penalties in detail. That's public record. But I will say this. We later reached a civil resolution. Financial figure made headlines. But money wasn't the point. Oversight reforms were verification requirements strengthened, courting compliance monitored, independent review mechanisms expanded. 6 months after the arrest, I stood at Quantico in formation. Promotion ceremony. Simone pinned on my new rank. Elijah stood beside me, still quieter than before, still healing. So was I. I defended the Constitution for 26 years. That morning, it didn't defend me. But here's what I learned. Justice doesn't move because you scream. It moves because you document, because you stay steady, because you refuse to become what hurt you. They came to my house believing I didn't belong there. They left that courtroom knowing exactly who I was and my son. He still asks questions sometimes. No. But now, he also knows something else. Even when the system fails, you stand. You fight intelligently. You make it better for the next family.